Once people discover the benefits of API testing, they have one question: how do I get started? In this video, we'll be demonstrating the answer. API testing can be performed manually or with an automated tool. Though we'll be showing you both methods in this demo, we recommend using automation whenever possible. It's the best way to save time and increase the accuracy of your tests. There are many tools you can use for both manual and automated API testing. While we don't recommend one tool over another, we can help you find the right testing tool for your needs. You'll find some helpful links at the end of this blog post. Without further ado, let's get into testing. First, we'll manually test an API using Swagger, a set of open source tools that helps you design, build, document, and test APIs. You'll see how to test a GET request and validate the success of the request with response parameters and response code. First, you'll need to create a Swagger account or log into an existing one. Next, import the API you want to test by entering its path or URL. Here we're importing the API for Zomato, a restaurant search and discovery service. Click Import to bring your API into Swagger. Scroll down to find the GET request you want to test. Here we'll be testing the functionality that retrieves restaurant details based on the API key and restaurant ID. Click Get, then click Try It Out. Enter the API key and restaurant ID, then click Execute to check the response. Scroll down a bit and look for code 200. This indicates that the request was successfully carried out. You can verify that the retrieved details are correct. You can easily test other GET requests using this approach. Pretty simple, right? This is a quick, easy way to manually verify your API's functionality by entering a few different parameters and reviewing the results. But for more substantial tests, we recommend switching to an automated testing tool. We'll be using Postman for this next part of the demo. It's another open source tool that simplifies API testing from end to end. We picked it because it can store information in multiple environments, parameterize test data, integrate with continuous integration tools like Jenkins, and share the code with repositories. If you don't already have Postman, go to getpostman.com and download the version for your operating system. Then, sign in with your account credentials or create an account if you need to. First, click Import to begin importing an API collection. Here we're importing an open source Google Maps API collection to demonstrate. Paste the API link and click Import. Next, we'll add a new environment. With the ability to create multiple environments for QA, staging, and production, we can easily introduce variables without changing the actual test scripts. Click the gear icon and select Manage Environments. Click Add. Give the environment a name and enter the parameter you wish to use as a variable. Here we're using the API key, which is required to run requests through the API. Click Add. Postman allows you to parameterize test data and environment details to keep data scripts independent. As an example, we're parameterizing the URL by removing hard-coded values and replacing them with a variable. As you can see, this variable will help us pass values into a test data file. From here, we'll retrieve these values for query parameters. Next, we'll write some API tests based on HTTP requests. We'll write both positive and negative tests. Positive tests help us verify that the happy path or the normal path of execution is working and that the API is meeting other functional requirements. Negative tests assure us that the API behaves correctly with invalid data. Here we're running a positive test using API test scripts created with Postman snippets. As you see here, valid data is being passed through to our test data file where we verify the expected outcome. The procedure for negative tests is the same for positive tests. Now that our test suites have been set up, we're ready to run them. Select your API from the sidebar, then click Run. Select the collection you wish to test and your environment. If you have created multiple environments, you can select them here. Next, enter your number of test iterations and select your test data file. Query parameters will automatically replace your environment's variables with the values in the data file. Preview your test data to make sure everything looks good before running the test. Click Run API. Once the test is complete, you'll see a report of the results. Here all have passed. Note the code 200 status in the results. You can also run this same test suite through a command line interface to generate a report. Here we're running the collection with the help of a Postman integration called Newman. Once the collection has been run, you can review the results. It's easy to weave your API testing into a continuous integration environment or build process. We'll switch over to Jenkins and run the same Google API collection to generate a report that we can then share with other teams and stakeholders. Click Build Now to run the test in Jenkins, then click HTML Report. Review all of the details provided by the report. From here, you can distribute the report as needed. And that's a wrap. As you can see, getting started with API testing is pretty straightforward. With the right tools, your team will be up and running in no time. If you need more help finding the right tools or starting API testing with your QA team, you can explore the helpful links provided in this blog post.